Hello friends, welcome to episode 237 of the Noclip podcast. It's a Crewcast. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. How are we all doing today, folks? How we feeling? How we feeling in our loins? How are your loins, Jesse?
Girded.
Girded loins. Frank, what about your loins? Wet, dry?
Sore from Dance Dance Revolution. I went
Nice.
I went again last night, so I'm good. I'm good.
Frank has a sickness, Jeremy. What's your sickness?
My sickness, I'm cripplingly addicted to caffeine, and I feel like it spikes my anxiety a little bit, but also I need that energy boost, so it's a real bind I'm in. Caffeine lifts me up, and then it's like, now I have to smoke some weed and calm down.
Yes, yeah, there you go. That's the problem. You're finding Hey, what is life if not the eternal struggle to find balance within oneself?
Amen.
Using
Namaste.
chemicals.
Yeah, exactly.
They were talking about speedballs back then too.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's true. They do call that the hippie speedball is coffee in a joint.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I was thinking about this recently, where I was having a chat with my wife about like when we have to explain, like, have the drugs conversation with my daughter, and like, you know, she's 7, so it's another couple of years before she starts getting into it.
5 years.
At least
Yeah,
one
yeah,
or
it's
two.
2 or 3.
Oh, okay. All right. Starting them young.
And I was trying to remember who it was. I think maybe it was you, Jeremy. I don't know. Somebody said that their parent said like, "Yo, I know. Just ask me first. If there's anything you need to know about any, chemical, I might have done it. Ask me first." And I was thinking about this myself. I was like, "Oh, like if I'll say that to her, like, hey, you know what? If you have any questions about this stuff, come to me." But then I was just thinking that like throughout history, drugs have just gotten worse and more dangerous. That like, I don't know, is fentanyl just in everything now? Like, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like the 70s where you could just like, take a bunch of ludes and like cocaine was like pure, like just who knew, but now it's like, I don't know if my street knowledge is up to par anymore with the new kids, because everyone just loves that fentanyl.
I can't get enough of it.
They're
Yeah.
always talking about it. Yeah,
Some
that's
drugs
true.
have gotten significantly worse, and some have gotten significantly better. You would be able to find pure MDMA back in the day, or like you would find ecstasy presses that were actually ecstasy, and now it's like I don't know. In college, I took an ecstasy press that was something called Foxy Methoxy, and then another different one that was a long-lasting psychedelic phenethylamine, and I was tripping for literally 24 hours.
Oh my God.
And it was a nightmarish experience.
Wow.
So yeah,
The other one was called Foxy Patoxy.
Foxy Methoxy.
That sounds
You
like
took something with meth in the name, and you were like, "Yeah, that's a good idea." You were in college, I guess.
It's 5-MeO-DIPT is the real name.
It sounds like somebody was cornered and said, "What is that?" And they had to name something in half a second.
It does sound like that. Yeah, it's a pretty folksy name for. It always is weird to me when drugs that are like, oh man, it's gonna be like your best friend's gonna become like a snake person, and you're gonna think that like King of the Hill is a documentary, and then it's like, what's it called? It's called like Zippity Zaps.
We ran out of names. There's too many weird versions of this. Have any of you guys? When is that new King of the Hill series? How do you guys feel about that?
Oh God,
Is it not
Have you
very
seen the
funny?
trailer?
I have not watched the trailer. Did you watch it? And is it good?
I watched the trailer. I like the humor in it. I think the animation feels weird. I don't know what's going on. Like, are they skipping frames or something? I wish I had like an animator brain or somebody I could ask. But yeah, Bobby is like has like a bougie bar and is selling like fancy IPAs, and like, Hank is like, "What is this, Bobby? This is too fancy for me," or whatever,
That makes me concerned, because I feel like that's a very sort of You know, that's like a very 2011 version of what a hipster is. It's like, oh yeah, they drink IPAs, and it's like that's like whatever. That's beer now. Is like, you know what I mean? You're a hipster if you don't drink IPAs.
They take an Uber to the house as well. So I think that in the trailer it looks like they moved away and then they've moved back. So I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Who's also, I'm trying to remember which of the voice actors died. I know John Redcorn's character.
Yeah.
The voice actor, he died in was he murdered or was a shooting? Like
It was he was defending his boyfriend or husband
Was that what it was?
from an attack, and he got shot in the interim.
But that was only recently. It was like
a
last
couple
month
months
or
ago.
something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if he's maybe in it.
Tim
They
and
did the-
Boomhauer's voice actor, I think, is dead as well.
Yes. Which
Yeah.
I mean, how are you replacing that guy?
No, yeah, exactly.
Like that's
It's
impossible.
like there's only so many Porky Pigs you can hire, right? As soon as that guy goes, what do you do?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Point.
No,
Although
it looks good.
they do dub Boomhauer in other languages, and it's equally hilarious.
No.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
yeah. I've looked up King of the Hill dubbed in other languages, like Spanish King of the Hill. The Boomhauer is fantastic.
Oh,
Fantastic.
that's
What's
awesome.
what's Spanish for dang old? You know?
I have no idea, but I highly recommend. I mean, Frank, here's your opportunity. Have you ever watched King of the Hill in Japanese? 'Cause
Yes.
It's
What a foolish question. Why did you
It
even waste
didn't.
time asking?
Didn't miss a beat.
Yeah,
It's
there's
great.
a Google Drive that has episodes in it. Yeah.
yeah. It's I mean, it's people joke that it's an anime, but if you watch it in Japanese, the full effect comes in.
Well, it's like,
Hanka.
well, it's like hyper because it's like hyper American culture, like especially Texas, like America, like so it's yeah.
So they love that. Oh my god, that's amazing. I think Bill is like morbidly obese now. I think I saw a clip where he's like stuck in bed or something. I don't know, but that was Stephen Root. I feel like is one of the more famous voice actors on that. I mean, maybe it's just from like Office Space and stuff like that, but yeah, I'm everyone else in it. What's her face? Peggy looks great. Peggy
Yeah.
like hasn't aged a
Aged
day
up properly, yeah.
yeah, exactly as you'd imagine. So yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it, but
I'm
I'm like,
excited.
I'm also like, it's very. Somebody reminded me yesterday that the first Mission Impossible movie is 29 years old, and that
Oh,
like
God.
just, I turned to dust. It was that was very upsetting.
Yeah.
Passage of Time's a bastard.
King of the Hill is an important show to me, and I'm afraid of the reboot. In fact, let me tell you a King of the Hill memory from the night that I took that weird psychedelic drug. Is
Okay.
as I was freaking my
Oh,
shit.
so when you said King of the Hill is a documentary, that
was-
wasn't just you
I-
pulling
I-
something out of thin air.
it was semi-fabricated riffing. The person I was with took a different drug and was like, after 6 hours, was like, I'm going to bed. So it's like, I guess I'll just freak my shit alone all night. And I was like, I need to calm down. I'm going to watch King of the Hill because that's my comfort show. And in this episode, in every single scene, Dale Gribble was standing in the background, like just standing there. And this is very unusual for anyone who's taken psychedelics. It is very unusual to just like, it's not like, oh, there's like I see spiders everywhere. That's like a person who's never taken drugs idea of taking drugs. So like, I do not say this out of naivete. This was very unusual. Dale Gribble was standing in a bunch of scenes, like a father-son moment between Hank and Bobby. I was like, it's really weird that he's just like there. And I rewatched this episode the next day, and Dale Gribble is in none of these scenes. And I mean, usually psychedelic hallucinations are like, things are breathing or undulating. It's like patterning. It's usually not like this.
Right.
For whatever reason, Dale Gribble was just in the background of like every scene, just standing there ominously.
Your brain just AI generated him into the background of. That is bizarre. What was he doing? Just standing there, like ominously, or
he was just standing there, and I remember thinking that he was like vaguely sort of like purple or maroonish, and I was like, it's very weird that the color is off as well.
It's like a California raisin.
Yeah, he just was there. I don't know. Ironically, the strangest thing I've ever seen on any drug ever was not like colors or entities or undulating or breathing. It was just Dale Gribble being superimposed into episodes where he doesn't belong.
What if you went back and like they just had like a problem at the TV station that day and they like superimposed like a frame
They played 2 episodes at the same time.
Yeah, like he was ghosting and you couldn't see it on lots of the shots, but in certain shots with certain color, you could see the
If your
Dale.
pupils were like this dilated, you could see
Yeah,
it.
exactly. You could see the colors that only dogs can see, you know. When you unlock, it's like the limitless pill is what we're saying here.
Yeah, you unlock
Can we-
secret episodes of King of the Hill.
We talk about drugs a lot on this show. Can we get banned? I know like
Yeah.
Twitch gets weird about that stuff. Does YouTube?
Yep.
Oh, this is
Okay.
all fictional, by the way.
All right.
Yeah, this is all. We're just if you've
I'm
never
just
listened
trying
to
to
this
look cool.
podcast,
It should be
This
it's
is-
educational. They shouldn't take it down. I don't know.
I agree.
That's
I
absolutely
don't-
nonsense. Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
a harm
this is against the
reduction
First Amendment.
This is like
podcast.
we're not shooting up on screen either, so I feel like it's okay.
Yeah.
well, speak for yourself, Frank.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We
Is
also
that what's
did
going
say-
on under that desk?
The veins. Look, I have no veins above my belly button anymore. I have to be
Oh,
real.
no. All right.
You know.
What do you do when you go to the
you can't-
doctor?
You can't see between my toes at the moment.
Oh,
so-
boy.
We also did, none of this was like, and drugs are cool and you should do them. It was like,
No.
fentanyl is in everything, and if you
Yeah.
take ecstasy, it'll be something else, and you'll freak out and watch King of the Hill all night.
It'll ruin your King of the Hill experience.
You'll throw up an orange, and then you'll think that the orange slices are internal organs that you're throwing up because you forgot that you ate the orange.
You're getting real specific.
That's a real story.
Yeah.
It's from the same night.
That was a long night, man. Damn.
It was the longest night.
My worst drug experience was at a World of Tanks event in Russia. I think I've told
love
that
this story.
I think
Yeah.
I've told that story on here. I probably.
Yeah.
If you see me at PAX or anything and you want to know the story of, I think I have told about it on the air. I think so. Yeah, that was a bad time. Hey, look, first and last time in Russia. Eh? I did it. I did it the right way. Frank, when was the last time you were in Russia?
God, like 2002, 2003. Like only went as a kid, and so I haven't
yeah.
gone back since.
How come you don't watch any like Russian anime? Is there any like?
It's
Good
all
Russian.
It's no like because the TV is controlled by the state, and if you speak against Putin, you're killed. So it's like there's nothing good. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know, but my mom has the Russian television on all the time, but she actually spends most of her time watching like streams and internet media outside of like the actual stuff. She used to watch one late night tacos, and then he outspoke against Putin, and then his show was canceled. So it was like,
Oh, really?
Yeah. So she watches like internet streams or
Hey, they do that here now,
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, apparently. It's great. Good stuff, folks. We're living into dystopia, but hey, at least there's video games and, of course, our Battle Pass holders. No, not doing it. Nothing in this intro is going to get applied to them this week. I think last week was bad enough. Shout out to all of our amazing Battle Pass holders who, through the wonderful world of crowdfunding at patreon.com/Noclip, maybe you've heard of it, supports all of the work that we do. Currently, also all the work we do on our second channel. I wonder if we should just open the conversation up about the name. We should just throw it out there and start getting, because let's come to that. Speaking of names, here are incredible Battle Pass holders: Lovepreet, Ute, Dwayne the Rock Lobster, Anthony Thomas, Nico Passateri, It's a me Ferrario, Senator Armstrong, Redredge, Harry Flanagan, Juice, Arno, Matt Pearson, thank you, Matt, James Brown, Mark Rojas, Copernicus, Quote, Tucker Morgan, David McGarry, Goddison, Sven Huster, Pez, John Akers, Ewan Nate, Tim Robinson, Forrest Pruitt, Raquel, Jonathan Kremen, Eric Hamilton Schneider, Christoph Fatui, Cameron Laird, Zachary Snader, Alex Goucher, George Chikagchika. Excuse me, that was
good.
There's a fentanyl kicking in. George Sakotis, Jacob Godserve, Enthea Jen, James Med, Tohir Tiliev, and Ryson. Thank you all so much for your incredible support. I was on a podcast. I was on a few podcasts this week. I'll talk about them in the housekeeping. But one of them, Attach Your Resume, they made me say Cameron Ladd on it.
Oh, fun.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit. Really?
Yeah, and a couple of the other ones came up. I think Tohir came up as well. Such is the power of the Battle Pass that there are thousands of poor innocent victims of video games walking around our beautiful marble ball right now who are just plagued by names of people that they've never met. They're just walking down the street, scratching their butt, thinking, I wonder what David McGarry's doing right now.
That's like
the beauty.
That's like a form of low-level psychosis, is just having names in your mind of people you don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like a number station beaming it into your brain or something, you know. You're just like full of you're like the Mancurian candidate or whatever.
Yeah.
but for crowdfunding. I
My
don't know.
activation phrase is when you read out the entire battle pass list.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes you all sleeper agents for buying indie games. I don't know what would be the thing. Preserving game history.
Sure. I like that.
I don't know. Let's talk about the name stuff maybe later on. We'll have a podcast and then see how we're feeling about it. We got some video games to talk about this week. We have a bunch of indie stuff. S.p.l.i.t, Lovely Lady RPG, Wheel World. And Frank has been doing some DDR sleuthing we need to check in on. Let's start with Lovely Lady RPG, Jeremy. Tell us a little bit about this. You played a couple of games, you said yesterday, and you were kind of gonna, maybe one or two of them might grab you. You chat about them. Lovely Lady RPG is the one that has reached the watermark, I guess. This is $16 on Steam. It came out just end of last week. Tell us a little bit about it.
So there is an artist named Mia Kane whose art that I really enjoy, who was the artist on this game. So that's how I came across this. This is a game that came out last year on itch, and I was aware of it, but because Steam has infiltrated my consciousness so deeply, there's something where it's like, oh, I should play that. And then when the same game is on Steam, it's like, I will play that, and I'll play it now. So the game came out on Steam recently, and I was like, finally it's within reach of me. And yeah, this is, I feel like I hope this game blows the fuck up. This is one of my favorite games of this year. In fact, can this be a GOTY contender if it came out last year on itch? If it came to Steam this year, okay, then
I think so.
Then this is in talks for game of the year for me. This is sort of like it's a narrative RPG, very clearly wearing its Disco Elysium influence on its sleeve. It uses an engine called Narrat, which I went on their website, and it seems like they sort of have the Disco Elysium layout baked into this narrative engine, or at least that might be the default or something, with the side panel with text, little sort of like what looks like a little photograph of the person speaking sort of embedded in the side of the thing. But not only that, this game also starts, it's an amnesiac story. So, Planescape Torment and Disco Elysium is right there. It starts in your room as an amnesiac story. The room is like destroyed or in tatters. So just a very, very similar setup to Disco Elysium, to the extent that like, I almost think it's kind of doing a thing where it's like, oh yeah, I know people will compare this to Disco Elysium, so we might as well embrace it. It's hard to tell, but that's kind of the read I got at it, is that they're like, oh, you think this is like Disco Elysium? Let's make it more like Disco Elysium to start. But it is very, very different than Disco Elysium in a lot of ways. That's just sort of like, I feel like its similarity is just sort of a little bit tonal, a little bit aesthetic. But this is a narrative RPG about a trans woman in sort of like a alternative historical, and like very simple. They mentioned the Soviet Union, so it's like, there are like touchstones that are the real world, but then they'll be like, oh, and there's like a giant 90-mile wide volcano in the middle of the Soviet Union.
Okay.
So then you're like, oh, okay. And then the years don't line up. So it's like, you'll get little touches of the real world, but then it does this sort of like fantastical historical dramatization thing that I really enjoy. But this is sort of like, it's very hard to describe because the game sort of introduces you to a set of characters and then lets you free. But essentially the setup is that you are this woman who and a mysterious orb falls from the sky and impales you. It just like lands in your chest and should have killed you, but instead just wipes your memory clean. And on the way into your body, it cuts through a self-help book that I think is called Lovely Lady, Nasty Girl.
Okay.
And so the archetype, these two archetypes of femininity are dragged via the orb into your consciousness. And so much like Disco Elysium, where you have, all of the different little skills and whatever speaking to you, in your mind in this game, you have the orb, which is this cosmic entity that knows all of history. You have Nasty Girl, who is the archetype of the nasty girl. She's roughshod. She loves a good time, getting drunk, blasting cigs. And then you have the lovely lady, who's sort of the prim and proper antithesis of the nasty girl.
These are all the sort of internal monologues, is
Yes,
it? Like in
exactly.
Disco Elysium? Okay.
And similarly, there will be skill checks where it'll be like something will happen, and then it'll say like, nasty girl, difficult, failed, and you'll know that a skill check is happening. I do feel like some of those skill checks to me feel necessary to tell the narrative. So I wonder if some of them are like they're faking it a little bit. But
Right.
honestly, I can't tell, and I think that is it's a nice touch. Either way, even if it's like they're rigging the dice on some of them, I think it's fun that you're like, oh, I got away with it, even if everyone gets away with it.
The artwork is gorgeous. I'm assuming for the low price of $16, this stuff is not voiced.
No, it is not voiced.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind. I feel like
Sure,
voice acting is one of those things where it's like even the original voice acting in Disco Elysium was pretty rough.
And sparse as well.
Yeah, very sparse.
There was much less of it as well. I don't think maybe like any of the skill checks were voiced in the original. I can't remember. But yeah, it had like who was it? It was like a bunch of the guys from Chapo.
Were in it. Yeah.
And like Dasha from Red Scare, just like random fucking people. And some of them were great, but some of them were not so great. So it was more like funny if you were in the world of like online politics and you're like, oh, that's like Felix Biederman talking. But anyway, yeah, I appreciate the fact that they didn't go for voice acting rather than, I think the sort of compromise would have been, let's get like friends to do it or something. And then it's like an awkward situation where it's like, if your friends aren't that great, then it's like, do we like cut them out because they're bad? But anyway, it reads more like the experience of a book where it's like, I've developed voices for these characters in my head now, and that's kind of how I prefer it. But anyway, so this sort of open-ended adventure starts, and you're basically just sort of cast into the world to do whatever. There are sort of like quests arise, like the fixing the hole in your ceiling that the orb came through is sort of a floating quest there. You can go ask a shepherd with an eye patch for planks to fix it and stuff. But then there are sort of like what feel to me like story, like mandatory sort of, maybe not mandatory, but like things in order to get like the real story experience feel necessary to me. Like going to the clinic to get hormones is like this sort of horrifying, like existential horror moment that I think works so cool. Fucking well. And I think that's what's kind of brilliant about this game is it's so funny and irreverent and like cheeky and weird and jokey, but then it will immediately pivot to like a legitimately horrifying moment with like the sound design will switch up, the like dialogue tone will switch up, the portraits will get more sort of like surreal and psychedelic and odd and horrifying. And it just like, yeah, I don't know. The writer and main dev, I believe her name is Poppy. I'm pretty sure.
The developer name on Steam is Das Poppy und Mia. It's actually so long. It's like Rancho Santa Margarita.
It's Art Collective in German.
Yeah.
So I checked out Poppy's other work. They've written a bunch of other sort of like interactive fiction stuff, so this is clearly not new territory for them. But I was really, really impressed with the writing here. The funny stuff is funny, and then when it switches into a more serious mode, it's not like it's trying super hard to be like, and now is like, this is the important stuff. This is like the part where we do like serious, like politics and whatever. There is like humor injected into these moments, but all of it just sort of feels like cohesively very human and vulnerable. When it's being funny, it's sort of like poking fun at characters in a way that is exploring their vulnerabilities, but not in like a, we're bullying them for laughs way. And when it's serious, it's very like, it feels drawn from, you know, real sort of like traumatic, horrifying experiences that people go through. So yeah, it feels like there's a lot of heart and soul in this game, and it just made me laugh a lot, made me think a lot, and I think it's fucking brilliant. It is one of the best narrative RPGs I've played since Disco Elysium, and I'm not just saying that because it reminds me of Disco Elysium.
Terrific. Have you completed it yet, or
no? I played the first like 2.5 hours. Similar to Disco, it's like when it's so text heavy, I like to break it up because it's at some point my brain just starts to like slow down, and it's like I want to actually savor this and enjoy it. But the game takes place across 4 days, and you have 6 actions per day, and the actions are spent on, you know, like you'll choose to do something, it'll be like, do you want to do this minus 2 actions or whatever. So you're sort of allocating limited time to these different actions and getting to choose. So it seems like a game that is worth replaying for the skill checks and to choose different paths and see how different things turn out. But yeah, it's gorgeous too. Like the fact that 2 people made this game, I think it's like, I don't know, it has that sort of like scrappy DIY energy, which I think makes it feel very agile and original and creative and different from things. But it's I don't know, there's an amount of polish here. And and expertise in the writing and in the art and confidence in the tone and what they're talking about. That I think it's a very, very special game.
Hell yeah.
We mentioned before, who was it? It was art director on the Return to Monkey Island was talking about how art is the thing you unlock in adventure games. That's the reward you get is more art. In this, is it more art? Is it more art or is it more writing? What are you looking forward to mostly when you're playing it?
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of both. The art does not change super frequently within a scene. So like I'm not going to talk too much about the doctor scene because I think it's sort of like a big pivotal moment in the plot point, or in the plot rather. But like, I think it just sort of settles on this one shot of like a dark silhouette outline of a figure, and their portrait is very unnerving. And it just settles on that. So it's not that you're like you're not being sort of like inundated with like a conversation changes, new piece of art, conversation changes, new piece of art. It's sort of like one like nice piece of art pops up, and then you're just like enjoying the atmosphere in that scene,
in that moment.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's kind of I feel like to me it's sort of a cohesive whole. It all kind of like blends together into this tonal experience. So I think the thing that I am anticipating going into a new scene is like, just like a cohesive emotional whole of what this scene feels like. I think that it speaks to the like, I don't know, the level of craft that goes into the sound design, into the art, into the writing, is that they all feel like they're sort of culminating into this big emotional whole rather than being like, I can't wait to see the next picture or whatever. Yeah,
awesome.
I'm just pulling up my notes to see if there's anything I missed because I played this game very late last night and
on the Steam page, just to tell you some of the features that it says. It says variable ending, a ton of gorgeous artwork, gamer achievements to hunt for, weird and off-putting women. So there you go. Something for everyone.
That is true. Yeah, actually, look, I need to read one piece of dialogue from this game because I think
go for it.
This is I'm not gonna read any of the serious stuff, so like I don't want anyone to think like, oh, this is what the entire game is like, because there are moments in this that get so fucking real and so heavy. But there's a line from Nasty Girl where she says, one time me and the lads all got together and pissed so hard into the same urinal that the ceramic fucking cracked and it fell off of the wall. Shit fucking bopped. And your two options to reply are, in parentheses, salute the concept of the lads, or
Good stuff.
It's
Good
just
stuff.
like, it's very, very like, I don't know. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but it delves into some really serious shit very skillfully.
Good writing, man. Good writing ain't easy. Lovely Lady RPG available on Steam and itch. It's $15.99 on Steam. You can also buy the art book for $2.99 or get it in a bundle if you so wish. Art book looks a couple of screenshots for it here, and looks like it has some concept stuff in there as well. So very cool looking stuff. You weren't playing Steam Deck or anything, right? You were playing just on your home PC.
I was just playing on my PC, but I do believe that the Steam page says it works on Steam Deck.
I was curious actually, because it sounds great. Like I really want to play it. I think you've sold me on it absolutely. I was just curious about the storytelling and the pacing of it, because I like playing these games. Like I played Disco Elysium in sort of chunks. I would get to the end of a story and go, and that's that. I'll let my brain stew and think about what happened. With this one, is it sort of like you go to a scenario, it plays through? How long are the scenarios, and then you move on, or is it the sort of thing where like a quest is a whole story? What's the structure there?
That's a really good question. It feels like the scenes are typically a conversation. There will be threads that sort of run through the entire game where it's like, talk to this person, and then that gives you the idea to go do something else, or brings up a necessary objective to do later or whatever. But it feels like the conversations are sufficiently lengthy that they feel like the breakpoints are between each conversation. Okay. It's not like you go talk to a person for 2 minutes and then it's like, okay, now I have to go talk to another person for 2 minutes. It's more like you run into a person and talk to them for a good, I don't know, 10 to 25 maybe. The conversations to me felt like I was surprised how long they were, but I never grew tired of them. I thought it was enjoyable how long I got to spend with each individual character. It made me feel like each of the characters were very sort of like heavily considered and fleshed out. Like I, for example, the shepherd I mentioned earlier, who you're looking to get planks from to fix your roof. I thought this was just going to be like throwaway character, and then it resulted in this huge conversation about like the political history of this world and this dude's sort of track record as like a war veteran, and you know how like there's like no victors in war, and he got like super philosophical. And then as soon as it moved on from politics, the dude's sort of like became withdrawn again, and it's like, wow, that's a lot of characterization to just get for this character who I thought was like random NPC. Like it's like the first quest NPC is how it feels, you know. It's like if the first person you saw in Stormwind was like, did I tell you about how my wife died? And you're like, Jesus Christ, I just thought you were gonna tell me to kill 7 kobolds, man.
Awesome
That's great.
stuff.
The last thing I wanted to say about it was that I think that this is the exploration of gender dysphoria as horror in this, I think is really interesting, because I think it's not just like, and this is bad and this is how it feels and it's bad. It's also, there's one of the other characters that you add to your sort of like internal skill cabinet is the Nightmare. And the Nightmare is a character who is sort of like strikes this tone of sort of dismissive, like they're clearly an antagonist, and they're like calling out insecurities about gender dysphoria, but they're doing it in a way that like a toxic person in your life who is ostensibly a friend might do, where they're like, oh, you look like shit, but like I'm a good friend because I'm telling you, like, oh, you have stubble, you look like a fucking man, like you must feel like shit and you look like shit, but I'm only telling you this because like I'm such a good friend, and like I'm making you aware. Yeah, exactly. And I thought that was such an interesting sort of like way to explore this experience, is like someone who keeps reassuring you that they're not an antagonist, but is so clearly playing this antagonist role. It was it struck a very uncomfortable balance of, I don't know. Cause I feel like that's how like, there are no like villains in the lives of most people. I mean, unless you like work for, you know, you have like a boss who's abusive, or like an abusive spouse or something. Typically the antagonists in real life scenarios are like people who
suck.
Yeah, just like people who suck, who are like, you're like, it's not that those things are forgivable. It's that you're like, you have a connection to a person and they don't always treat you well. And I think that's it's insidious in a way that feels so real, and it really got to me, because it wasn't like a mustache twirling villain who's like, you'll never be what you think you are. You're like, no, it's more just like, but like I care about you though, and I'm only doing this because I care about you. It got under my skin. I thought it was really, really well done.
Awesome. Sounds like it's well written. Lovely ladies RPG. Thanks so much, Jeremy. Interested to hear a little bit more about it as well. And yeah, jump on there, folks. If you've bought it as well, you know the rules. Make sure you leave a review, especially for indie games. Get it done. I'm going to jump in quickly and talk about Wheel World. This is from Messhoff, the developer of Nidhogg, which you may remember. Awesome. And Nidhogg 2 as well, presumably. And Fly Wrench, which I did not play, which came out around the time of Nidhogg as well. So Wheel World is there will be a quick look up on the channel by the time this podcast is out, but essentially the way I sort of explained it to Jesse a bit was that it's a indie game. It is I completed it in somewhere around 4 hours time. I'm not sure if I was faster than they were anticipating. I think on the review guide they said between 4 and 6 or something like that, but I've since gone back and played another hour of it. So I've done 5 hours of fucking around in there, and I'm not quite done yet because I want to keep unlocking stuff. It's essentially a game, it's like an open world indie Zelda inspired, kind of Breath of the Wild inspired cycling game. So you have a big map, you have a quest to recover, to basically race these four for want of a better term, like mayors of the districts of this world. To race them, you need to have a certain amount of reputation points. You get rep by winning races. You get rep by beating some challenges in the races. It's generally the same 4 challenges each time. It's complete the race, I think, in first, second, or third. Win the race, beat a certain time, and collect a couple of letters KAT. Which are like skate, basically. In the Tony Hawk game, there are KAT. Cat is the name of the main character, and sort of off the beaten path of the racing line you have to like get off to get some of these letters, and when you do that, you also have to come in first. You can't just get the letters; you have to win the race as well. So, differing sort of adds a bit of difficulty to races that usually aren't too hard. I didn't find them too hard. I was explaining to Jesse that like I play a lot of like racing sims and Formula One games, and a lot of them are about like driving line and when you accelerate, when you like. This felt way more like I was doing one of those. Not in terms of difficulty, just in terms of driving style and how braking works and stuff, and like retaining a certain amount of acceleration. Like entering a turn at the start of a straight is really important in Formula One, because if you don't get the requisite speed out of that turn, you're going to be slower than everyone else on the straight. And it's all about relative speed and how much faster you are to everyone else. So the mechanics of this racing game felt very familiar to me. So maybe I was better at it than... maybe it slipped into my gaming habits a bit more than other games. But it's cool. It looks really good. The gorgeous sort of cell shaded look to it. The different biomes are interesting. The loop of unlocking bike parts and buying bike parts, and the game rewards you for doing a bunch of stuff off the beaten path, like finding jumps and discovering things. I won't say what within the world. There's a sort of a surveillance state drone that gives you tickets for doing these things because it's always watching you. And the world itself is like has an element of fantastical realism to it. You have this disembodied floating skull which follows you everywhere. Which is the sort of your buddy, and the whole reason you're on this quest is to try and find bike parts that this skull needs to deliver spirits to the to the moon. There's like this whole other not heavy-handed but interesting fantastical story going alongside the action itself. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I completed it. I've gone back and done a bunch more races in it. And yeah, I found it, charming and interesting and really cool.
Nice. Yeah, I played a little bit more of it, and it's like, I think you described it all really well. We talked about it in the indie recommendation.
Sorry,
which is
not quick look. You're right.
In brief, and I think we got our points across, but something that has really stuck with me, and since I've played a little bit more, I really like the Forza setup that they have here, because it is a bit more like it's that open world racing game. It's not like you pick a location and start the race there. You have to bike over to the race location, talk to the person, start the race, and then the race takes place in part of the map. So it's not unlike Forza or Burnout Paradise or Mario Kart World or whatever now. But I think the way that they do it here is like, it's not different from those, but the scale of it, I think, really makes me appreciate it more. Because when you're driving a car, you're going so fast that like they have to make the obvious extra things you can do, the side things, the jumps, really obvious because you're going so quickly. Here you're on a bike, so you can slow down, you can get off the bike and walk around. And I noticed a lot more shortcuts because, like Danny said, the races aren't very hard, but they do require, especially the time trials, you to use some of the shortcuts. And you can see those when you're just biking around an area. Sometimes you'll go past something 2 or 3 times, or you'll do a lone wolf race, which is like there's bikers around the world who are just independent, aren't part of a biking group. And they'll be like, ring your bell and you can race them. And it's a super short little thing.
It like starts the race like in the open world, right? It doesn't like go to a loading screen. They just go, all right, let's go. And then the checkpoints appear. It's cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun. So it's like you see there's a lot of opportunities to just learn more of the world and see the little bits and pieces that are there, again, because of the scale and because of the speed and everything. I really think it's a very well designed, tight version of a racing game. It's a blast.
Yeah, it sounds cool. I'm curious, like outside of races, are there like side quests, or like I'm curious about the format, or is it mostly just sort of an open world with races in it?
Yeah, it's fairly lean, I'll say. The game loop is pretty, like, a lot of the sort of extra stuff you can do is relatively disconnected from the main, like the golden path. So the other things you can do are basically cash in some of those sort of things I told you about, like go to the bot and it'll give you tickets basically for finding 5 jumps and doing this and winning 10 races, and then using that at a couple of vendors. There are some vendors that'll sell you different bike parts. The bike parts are split into like, I think 7 different categories, I want to say. It's like, handlebars, seat, front wheel, rear wheel, the chain you're using,
fork,
the frame, forks, all that stuff. Yeah. So then it's, and each of those has an aesthetic sort of vibe to it. Like they're funny. Like there's a couple of really ridiculous ones. There's one in the video we posted where I got the full set, which is based on like a human body, because there's this
saw that one in the trailer, and I paused on it because it's so fucking disturbing.
It's got like feet for the wheels, and the reason for that is like the world is full of all of these different bike gangs basically and bike clubs, and that one is a bunch
and when
of
you
like
beat them, you cut off their feet and then you turn it into wheels.
It's a bunch of like naturalist dudes who live in the city, so they're all about like, you know, being naked or whatever. So that's their bike, and you unlock them as well throughout the world, and they have different stats, and the stats split into 4 categories. It's basically like top speed, acceleration, grip, and handling. And the thing I was telling Jesse in the video is that like maybe I would have preferred if it had done this, but like I never felt like I was really that handicapped by using a bike that wasn't sort of distilled to that type of cycling. Like the 4 areas sort of have their own feel. One of them has a lot more hill climbing in it, is a bit more off-roady. Another one is like a lot of straights. You know what I mean? Like they have their own sort of feel. And obviously in those scenarios, you would want to have like a road bike with like top level speed that can, you know, take corners fast, or maybe for the uphill one, you'd want to have better acceleration than top speed. You know, your power you'd want to have higher than your aerodynamics, right? But I never like. There was maybe 1 or 2 of the hard races that I was like, you know what, I'll tune the bike a bit I'll swap my frame out, because you can do it anytime. You're just cycling around, you hit pause, you can just change your bike and then keep going. So maybe in a different world there was a more I don't know, costly aspect there if you didn't tweak it enough. But no, it didn't really feel like it was that useful. And so as a result, side quest wise, it's mostly just collecting stuff, which I have enjoyed. You know, that's fun in its own right. But getting the four different rep category victories within each race has been the thing that's kept me in it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm excited to do that.
It's good. It's like Ollie Ollie World or Roller Drome, where it's like you got to replay the race. But again, because like you said, it's not hard. So like it's pretty easy to get everything in the first or second race. I don't know if that's good or bad. I think it's fine for the size of the game. It's like 4 or 5 hours long, like Danny said. I spent a lot of time just biking around. I wanted to see what the world had to offer. I think to Jeremy's point, like I was expecting there to be a little bit more to it, just like one extra feature, one extra thing that wasn't just doing races. And I know there are the coupon things like you mentioned. You can go and if you get 5 jumps, you get extra coupons. But like that stuff felt like I was going to do it anyway, or it just kind of happened and it was a reward for that. I was thinking, because there are a lot of NPCs in the world that you can talk to and they have sort of incidental dialogue, which is cute and funny. But like I thought they would be like, hey, yeah, could you go over here and collect 5 coins in under 30 seconds or something? Just like a little random side mini game thing I was expecting there to be. There are some features that are like missing or that seem not missing necessarily, but just like that feel like they would make sense, like having multiple bike slots, glam stuff. Yeah, you can't do that. Like all of that stuff feels like they wanted to put out the MVP, the minimum viable product for this. Make sure it's good, make sure it's high quality, and then they're like, if people like it, then we'll add that stuff in later. Like that's sort of what it feels like.
Yeah, I think I can, you know, I'd love to talk to the developer, because if it is like those games that it might be like a very small amount of people, or like 1 or 2 people, or one person, you know, doing a lot of this stuff. I think the thing is that like the reason I think I feel that way is that the core gameplay of cycling the bike is very good.
It is.
So I would happily have spent more time in this game. Like if this game was twice as long, I would have completed twice as much. Obviously that requires, it's a different pacing. There's different, you know, maybe I would get bored of just races at that stage. But yeah, I agree. I think the game is a bit more, it's hard. I don't want to spoil anything, but like I was satisfied with all the stuff that was in it in the end. You know, I think there's the ending and sort of what happens after you've done the sort of main quest stuff does get interesting after that in a way that I wasn't expecting. So that was cool. So it might be a little bit longer than you're thinking. I don't know where you are exactly, Jesse, but I'll say the first couple of hours I was playing that I wasn't so into the cycling. I think like maybe the first hour or so I was feeling like, oh, the bike is like hard to cycle, but I think it's just because you start off with like not great kit. But by halfway, another hour into the game, I was like, oh no, I really like the feeling of this. And then it adds in a couple of more mechanics, like gearing into it that you can add if you want to try and get an edge on people, which is kind of an option, which I quite liked. And that also I thought was pretty cool for just mixing up the races and giving you something new to do, with having a 2 or 3 speed bike, which is pretty cool as well. So I don't know. I feel similar to Jesse. I really liked playing this. It's $20. It felt like a great time. It's probably in my top 10 of the year, just in terms of I really enjoyed it a lot, and I'd play more. And I'm kind of excited that they should do a sequel. Like they should do a sequel that has more stuff in it. Maybe.
I'd buy DLC for sure.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I would too. You're right. Like make a new zone or whatever, and do some stuff there, or even add stuff to this zone. I don't know. But yeah, that's it. Wheel World. It's an Annapurna published joint from Messhoff, available on Steam and consoles. I've not played the consoles version. Quick note on Steam Deck. The review guide actually suggested not to review it on Steam Deck. I booted it up, of course, just to see how it ran, and it definitely was not optimized. I suspect console optimization and thus Steam Deck optimization is what was going on for the past end of development. So the released version of the game might be well optimized for Steam Deck. I can't possibly tell you, but it is a good Steam Deck game. Like, did you play much on Steam Deck, Jesse?
No, I didn't touch it at all because they said don't bother, and I was like, I don't need to play the less performant version of this to talk about it. But I'm glad that you did, so we know what the deal is.
Yeah, it was like it was a bit laggy, which you don't want on a bike game, and then also the frame rate wasn't great. I had to drop everything down. But like I said, I don't think they'd even optimize it all for it at that stage. So, mileage may vary on that. Go check out your favorite Steam Deck review YouTube channel if you need to find out about that. And the other thing I'll say is it looks really good. I was really happy to play it on a big PC. Yeah, it looks
gorgeous.
terrific.
If you can play it on like a big OLED TV, I bet the colors look great. Like, it's just so nice. The lines are super sharp. Yeah, beautiful looking game.
Good stuff. Wheel World, available now. Okay, let's slide on over to Howley World for a hot second and check in with the game everyone's talking about. Actually, you did play DK Bananza as well. I see it here on the end of your list. Have you played much of it?
I think I've played about like 4 or 5 hours of it, and it's awesome because I have no idea what the game is about, but it's the most fun I've ever had playing a Nintendo game in like 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's like the equivalent of like when I played Minecraft, I just let me just dig to the bottom of the ground. Awesome. Let me just dig to the end of the map. Awesome. Let me just dig to the top of the map. Awesome. So like Donkey Kong, I haven't even gotten to Paulina yet, but I put 5 hours into the game, and I am just like, I think I'm only in the first gone to the first 2 or 3 areas, but it's just like, I'm just going to destroy everything. And the entire time you're just unlocking like coins, gold, stars, bananas, skill points. And I'm like, I don't care. There's like quests and stuff, but it's generally like just the game feel of it is phenomenal. It's like, we talked about like a week or two ago, again, like the term like mowing games, but it's that. It's like, it's so satisfying just scraping the terrain. So yeah.
Can you just back up a little bit? Just explain to folks exactly what you can do in this, because they might not realize that so this game has like full destructible environments.
Yeah, so it's DK Bonanza. I don't know like what timeline this is with Donkey Kong stuff. Donkey Kong literally is like a miner. So like everyone's mining on a planet. I have no idea what the lore is. Again, I've just been destructing
He yearns
rocks.
for the mines.
Yeah, so he's in the mine. I think he wants to digging for bananas, and he likes bananas. And every time you get bananas, you get skill points. And so, there's it's like I remember in geology they had like the stone scale. So there's like soft rock, stone, and like concrete, and like metal. And so like some elements are harder. You need to pick up bigger rocks to crash harder rocks, whatever, things like that. So, you can destroy. It's like Minecraft. You could just destroy everything. There's some elements where you can't destroy, but even if an NPC is standing, like an NPC is fishing on a boat, you can destroy the boat, and the NPC is like, "Hey, what am I supposed to do now?" Whatever.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So it's. But I think it's great because it's like in the like I'm not knocking Donkey Kong's intelligence, but I feel like it puts you in the mind of the character where you really don't care. You're just destroying stuff, getting bananas and coins. I don't even know what the coins do. I don't know what the you're collecting gold all the time. There's constant again, it feels like a slot machine because you're constantly just getting the ching, 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 like all the sound effects and coins. But it's awesome. So like I thought this was gonna be a launch title for the Switch, so I was shocked when it was like, oh, what, this is out a month later? Okay, whatever. Played a little bit of Mario Kart World or whatever that. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Mario Kart
Yeah.
World. Then this came out, and immediately the reviews unanimously like, oh, this is like one of the best platformers ever. And I was like, all right, let me try this out. And yeah, the opening like tutorial ever, it was just like, oh, this is so good. And so I think like the layout of the game is like there's different worlds or like levels. You can keep going. Like I spent a long time on the first level, and then you went down like essentially almost like a warp pipe, and then you went just further down into like the layers, and it's a whole new map with new collectibles, new quests, and things like that. So I don't know if you're on one planet, if there's other levels or whatever, but there's clearly like different stages or environments. Again, kind of like Super Mario Odyssey, it's the same team, but yeah, you're just on a giant map. You can destroy everything and get bananas, coins, and things like that. And there's cute little quests and discoveries. There's also like tiny missions. You can go down, like open a door, and you're in a little platforming stage where you have to fight enemies or search for bananas on this little like the way like Mario Galaxy and stuff would have these like pockets of interesting, unique, weird levels. So yeah, I also, similar to like Breath of the Wild or the other new Zelda game, it's like I am not looking stuff up online. I'm enjoying being naive and discovering things on their own. I'm also like, I also specifically bought this game so that when I was on my like plane ride to Japan soon, I can play it and just enjoy and get lost in it. But yeah, I'm having so much fun, and I do not mind that I don't know everything about the game. I have no idea what the objective is. I am just genuinely having fun digging and smashing things. And yeah, it looks great. Like I think I only noticed one moment when the frame rate stuttered, but like it's shocking how fun it is. There's even like a co-op thing. So there's local and even online. Nintendo has this thing called like Game Chat, which is their version of like an Xbox Live Party. But my friend Jared was like, there's co-op, right? And so he jumped in, and it's basically like Super Mario Galaxy's like Wiimote mode. So it's just an extra cursor, and he can also dig
Destroy
with me.
stuff?
So now
great.
I was just destroying a level. Now it's just going like three times as fast as destroying everything, and like that's more bananas, more coins, and yeah, it's God, it just feels good to play. So I'm happy. It's really, really good and surprising.
It's very fun. I've played not as much as you. I only had a little bit. I was babysitting, and the fucking little turd finally fell asleep so I could play some game. It was a lot of fun. You're great, Emmett. I love you when you watch this in 14 years. It's, I think Donkey Kong as a concept to me has not been appealing. I just hadn't, because he likes bananas. I just did not care. Like the Donkey Kong Country, great game. 2, great game. Those are all great. Don't get me wrong. But I just like, if I want to play a platformer, I'm a Mario baby. I love me some Mario. Knowing that this isn't trying to be a 3D platformer and is a 3D punching game where you punch shit out of rocks is so much fun. Like on a technical level, there's stuff here where I'm like, oh, this is like weirdly impressive. Because the way that he punches is like he deforms part of the landscape. Jeremy, you would love this game. And well, I don't know about love you, but maybe you'd be mad playing it, honestly. But like he punches and he create these tunnels through the walls. And then when you go into the tunnel, the camera like occludes the area behind him so you can see the tunnel that you've made and maneuver through the player made tunnel. It was so cool the first time that happened. I was like, I can't believe, how are they, what? This could never happen on the Switch 1. Thanks, Switch 2. They finally figured it out. No, it's really, yeah, just where I am right now. It's, yeah, Frank has nailed it. Apart from the destroying everything, it's like, surprisingly, the game is like actually really fun. It's very joyous. Like everything about it, the sound effects, when Donkey Kong picks up one of the bananas, which is like this game's versions of the stars, he goes like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think like the difference we're seeing here probably is that like this is the A team, right? This is the Mario Odyssey team taking Donkey Kong, and they've even like the character design is so good in it, and it's a because I'm the same way. I'm not a big DK person. I don't really care about any of the games at all, and I've tried a few over the year, and they've never, This seems like
you weren't a big Jungle Beat kid. You didn't like that very much.
Donkey Kong, the bongos game, that was good fun. I had that one. That was good.
Yeah, the congas.
Donkey Kong. That was awesome. But yeah, it almost felt like it was trying not to step on Mario's toes a bit, and it's interesting that they kind of are allowing it to just be like a big open platform or game, and also the destructibility is giving them a new lease of life, so that's pretty cool.
It's kind of like a systemic platformer, the destruction too. Like I've noticed in the first couple areas, there are moments where there's a clear obvious path that they point out to you, and you can like sing and a little note will lead you in that direction, and you could totally just go do that if you want, but the destruction is way more freeform and allows you to skip stuff that I did not think they were going to do. Like there are some very clear, obvious, like you have to unlock this ability before you can progress sort of stuff going on, but there's a lot of freeform. Oh, I can see a better path up here than walking all the way around this thing. I'm just going to punch my way through. And it's very satisfying, and you feel like a genius when you figure it out. It's great so far.
Awesome. Donkey Kong. What's it called? Bananza?
Bananza.
DK Bananza? Awesome.
Red
Mostly
Faction
do I want
Gorilla.
to...
Sorry.
What'd you say?
Red Faction Gorilla, because I'm
pretty
sorry,
good.
1,000 people have made that joke, but I promise that in my head I was like, that's very clever. I'm very clever, and then I saw 1,000 people made it, and I was like, that sucks.
I trust you.
Yeah.
But it's still funny.
Mostly do I want to talk to you about DDR. Frank, what's going on?
Yeah, so Boss Fight Books recently published their Dance Dance Revolution book by Jessica Doyle and Jordan Ferguson, and I think this came out actually last month, June. I subscribed to their mail newsletter. If anyone doesn't know Boss Fight Books, it's an incredible like indie publisher. They just produce like documentary like books on video games and critical essays. They have about 40 of them. Like actually the on the back it has all of them. It's like there's like Earthbound, Chrono Trigger, Jagged Alliance 2, Metal Gear Solid, Spelunky by Derek Yu, World of Warcraft, Katamari. Parappa the Rappa is an incredible one. There's one on Minesweeper. So anytime these books come out, I'm like I just stock up on them. And so I bought this, and I was like just decluttering my room, and I was like, this is on the top of my pile, so I just picked it up, and like I've read it within like 3 days. The book itself goes into the history of DDR to present day. So like broadly speaking, like I remember like as a kid, my dad took me to arcades all the time, and so I was like, I don't know, like 8, 9, like a kid when DDR debuted, and so like I was never good at it, and I was very shy to play it. But I just remember all the Bomani games evolving and just the kind of culture of it. And then as consoles got so good at home, just forgot about DDR, didn't care. But then most recently, like when I was in Japan, I spent a whole day, like a few days investigating Japanese arcades, and like the trope of like seeing salarymen just like at 2 a.m. going nuts on all these rhythm games, even like school kids like playing DDR and stuff. And it was like, oh, this is so alive and present. And I've completely ignored DDR forever. And so after reading the entire DDR book, which is like filled with so many incredible facts and things, like I was like, I need to play DDR. And so I bugged a bunch of my friends, and right now we're recording on like Tuesday, but on Saturday we went to the Lakewood round 1, like early in the morning, and it was like, I want to play DDR. And I got my wish fulfilled and spent like 2 hours on the machines.
Oh, wow.
And the next day I woke up like the most sore I'd ever been from exercise in like probably years. And I was like shocked, like, oh, that was the best work I've ever had. I needed to keep doing this. And like the way DDR has changed, like the book talks about this too. When the games came out in the 90s, Konami had a licensing deal with the people who put out like the best of Eurobeat CDs every month. So like the music was like kind of crappy, but that's why it was funny. But like the music of the original DDR games in the 90s was so gonzo and ridiculous, but like it was cheap to produce or whatever, so people just played it. Nowadays, all the music is like hyper dempa anime, like the stuff I actually like and seek out. So now it's like, oh, and the visuals are so much better, and even the sensitivity of these newer machines play so much better. The other thing I learned too from the book, and even talking to friends in the scene, is like back in the 90s, like it was so taboo for people to like abuse the bar, like when
Oh yeah, hold on to the bar.
Yeah. And so like even as a kid, it was like, oh, so I was like too shy to even learn how to play. But then what happened is that's became the standard way of playing. The only way to clear like the max difficulty on all these DDR songs was to use the bar. Konami realized that and started programming songs so difficult that the only way to pass them was to use the bar. And then there's still players who subvert it. Like there's YouTube videos of like, I saw a video, there was like a YouTuber named like Barless Mike or something, where it's like, he doesn't use the bar, whatever. But like, it's such a thing. But like, so I was using the bar, and all of a sudden, like I've never been good at the physical rhythm games, but I can do expert Guitar Hero, all that stuff. And so the other benefit is I've been doing like, I mean, on and off, but it's like, I feel like I'm pretty consistent doing like cardio with like riding my bike and riding the elliptical. So when I went to the arcade Saturday and played like DDR in like difficult settings, it was like the first time I'd ever played DDR where my chest didn't hurt, where it was like, oh, I can withstand this. Now it's like, I have to work my arm strength because I'm lifting my entire body while my arms, and then my feet, I just have to be like less clumsy. But it was like exhilarating. And I even signed up for like, it was only $6, but you can get what's called like the amusement pass. So now with round 1, the book talks about this too. They have an official partnership with Konami. So Konami like ships the latest machines to all the round one arcades. There's round one across the country, but here in California, I am spoiled. There's so many round ones in California. So like it dawned on me where it's like, oh my God, we're kind of now in the golden age, like it's better than ever, like a golden age of rhythm games because they're being shipped to all these round one arcades. But like, I don't know if newer generations care, but it's like, I feel like no one cares or not that many people are talking about this. So I'm just like, yes.
Were many folks using them?
So
there?
It's like gym equipment. I'm not kidding. It is like people come with their towels and like water bottles, set their stuff. It's like in a gym. So like I'll kind of scope around and like take a machine and then after you play, you step back, let other people try, whatever. But yeah, it's like the machines are always occupied. Like people are like, I didn't go when it was too crowded, but like, I feel like I kind of got the sense is like people will play a section, back off, wipe down or whatever. And if no one does it, then do a second time. So I went back last night. I went to a different arcade, the round one in Santa Ana. I found this is the sweet spot. At midnight, round one kicks out everyone under 21. So I pulled up to the parking lot around midnight and there was a giant crowd of people outside. I was like, oh shit, is it closed? Did they get the time wrong? I walk in and I see the signs like no one under 21 after midnight. And I'm like, the arcade's empty. Oh, and it's the summer, but it's like it's Monday night, Tuesday morning. So I walked up and there was only like one other guy and the rest was just like free DDR machines. I mean, you have to pay, but like, you know what I mean? Like no one was using them. So it was like, so I got like a 2-hour gym session at round one, but it was like, oh my God, it was like euphoric. Because the other thing that drives me crazy, especially here, South Orange County, Rancho Santa Rodrigo, this is such like a senior community. There's 24-hour fitnesses, but they close at 10 p.m.
Hey,
so like,
what?
Yes, I fucking hate. I'm sorry. I hate.
Rename your gym, man.
I
That's
hate
like
it. I hate. Yeah. So
That
like,
sucks.
12-hour fitness.
you know, like it sucks. Like honestly, a lot of times I'll stream all day, and then at the end I need to move my body, but the gyms are closed. And I can go for a bike ride or walk, but it's cold. Like it just kind of sucks sometimes late at night. But now it's like, okay, if I can just go to round one and dance for 2 hours, it's like it's a new way to work out. Because also I need to prep my body for Japan and walking all that stuff, and like still trying to shed the post-COVID weight. But yeah, so it's exhilarating, and I think the biggest key thing is like with DDR in the present days is like the music is relevant to me. It's like hyper anime Dempa stuff. It's not like no offense, Danny, it's not Eurobeat style. I know you're not a Eurobeat guy, but like it's like the Gonzo Euro trash stuff. Also, what happened? The book talks about it too. Is like they were licensing all the cheap Eurodance songs, and then eventually the licensing fees got so expensive that Konami just started making music in-house. But it was like the same 4 musicians making all the songs, so they would just have different artist names. And then,
you're kidding?
Yeah. So like, and I thought that was extremely funny. And then nowadays, like Konami has contests like submit your song. So now there's just, and now with Vocaloid, anyone can produce songs with Hatsune Miku and all this stuff. Like. So now all the music is awesome. It's insane anime visuals. I also realize like the more like chibi or kawaii the visuals, the more insane the song is. And so I don't know. So it was just generally fun to just like be stoked in it. And it's like Death Stranding 2 uses the term. There's like a port gate to connect like different worlds, and it's like. It feels like DDR. It's now my port gate to Tokyo. Like this is the songs are also connected to the internet. Like so, Konami's updating the thing. Also, I don't know if this is true, but I think the book talks about it. If you set your region to Tokyo, you get more songs. So when I signed up for amusement, I was like, oh no, I live in Tokyo. Psh, okay, more global license, more songs unlocked. That I don't have to worry about North American licensing, whatever. But it was so now it's like I can get achievements where you have your amusement card, so it's logging your best scores for songs. So now there's like 1,000 songs on Dance Dance Revolution World. So it's like, well, I got to play every song. Yeah.
How much is this costing you? That's the one thing I'm like.
I put $50 on a round one card on Saturday. I use maybe 10% of that. Like the trick with round one is they want you to spend on the crane games. You burn through credits playing crane games. If you're playing DDR, that's going to last a long time. I'm like shocked. Okay. I'm shocked. So yeah, I think like, I forget if it's like, I forget what the ratio is. It's the thing where it's like, it's 8 credits a song. Is that $1? I don't know, but it seems very cheap compared to how it felt in the 90s. Also the big thing, if you get an e-amusement card, it's only $6. You are guaranteed your entire play. The way like a lot of these machines work, if you fail a song middle, game over. You just wasted $1. That was a cost prohibitive thing where I never wanted to play DDR in the first place. I was a little kid. I sucked. I wasted my quarters. Screw this. I can 1 credit clear Marvel vs. Capcom for an hour. Right. So here with the amusement, you're guaranteed your 3 songs. They also want you to log your scores. They want you to come back. Like there's progression. You're leveling up your avatar. Like all this nonsense stuff that's now modernized in video games, it's now in DDR. So it's like Oh my, it's so exhilarating, and yeah, I'm kind of hooked. And again, like the idea too is like, okay, now I'm going back to Japan soon. Now I know the machines better. Like I just want to observe and witness all this stuff, and and now I'm like bugging all my friends, like, okay, guys, want to go on Saturday? Like, I kind of want to get a giant DDR gang together. And even my first time Saturday, I didn't know how to do the machines. I was so confused, and it was just like asking for help at the gym. Like, hey, how do you change the weights on here? How do you change the difficulty? How do you get a card? And people were friendly. I even saw one guy bring a portable fan with them. Like,
oh my god!
He had the backpack. Like he had his like a giant fan he pulled out of his backpack.
You just plug it in.
Yeah, I think wireless battery or something, or battery. And then
awesome.
round one also has fans that they set up for you, and so. I don't know. It's just kind of fascinating, and I know conventions always have like I think even QuakeCon has a DDR machine set up, and there's a company that rents out DDR machines to conventions. But yeah, it's just this global game that's kind of better and easier to play than ever before. Which my concept of DDR was stuck in the 90s. Like, okay, Eurobeat, like the same 10 songs. Like, this is impossible. But now, like. I know it's also very exhilarating trying a new hobby at like 34 and just being like, okay, I can, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Having no
Especially
fear.
a physical one.
Yes, it's healthy. I have no fear of like looking like a goof in public because it's like I stream all day. I'm so beyond that. Whereas like as a kid or a teenager, you're so self-conscious. But it's also it's a third place to hang out. I literally just spend so much time in my room. If I'm not going to convention or traveling, I'm just in my room. I am the most like antisocial version of myself that's ever been, like even more so than COVID. Like it's not healthy. So now that there's like all these round ones with DDR cabinets, and I have a handful of friends local in Orange County, like, okay, let's go, please. Let's go out here. And so it's kind of, it's like, it feels like a cure to something that I've been suffering from for a while. And so, yeah, I'm like hopeful, excited, but also now I'm like, okay, where else are there cheap DDR machines? I bet bowling alleys, movie theaters, like what's the cheapest DDR machine? What's the most obscure location? Who are the nuts that are logging on this? There's websites that map out all the DDR cabinets. But yeah, there's like 1,000 songs in DDR world. They're updating the machines constantly. It's, yeah, I don't know. It feels like a very untapped phenomenon, and I know it's DDR. Everyone knows, but it's like, oh, do people realize how good it is in 2025? Like, if you have a round one, I guess Dave and Buster's and other stuff.
Sounds like a Frank video for the channel.
I didn't know that was still going, the Dance Dance Revolution games. I had no idea they were still releasing songs. Because, I mean, I was a big Guitar Hero kid, so when I go to Dave & Buster's or whatever, I see the awful, heavy guitars for Guitar Hero, and I'm like, this is what happened to it. It fell from grace. I know you like the social aspect of Dance Dance Revolution, but do you have any interest in buying a dance pad for your room, or are you just going to keep this to like outside of the house?
So I have a friend who has like a metal pad at home, and I found out what people do is they use like step ladders or like actual ballet bars you can order off Amazon to get the bar.
That's awesome.
It's potential. I feel like I don't need more reasons to stay in my room. So it's like, oh no, it's good to get out. Like, but if anything, I'll drive down to San Diego and hang out with my friend Jordan who has metal pads or investigate. But like, yeah, my friend he lives in Hawaii and he's part of his DDR scene locally over there. He's sent me videos that people have made like insane home setups. Like there's even a channel of this lady who lives in Africa, and she's made a YouTube video of like all the DDR machines in Africa, and like she has a setup at home, and she has just chairs stacked up in like a laundry basket on top, and that's her bar. So it's just it's kind of like punk and endearing and very DIY to see people make it work anywhere. My friend tells me he's part of a tournament where it's like once a week you're assigned a song and you have to post the best score of that. You have a week to publish your score. So it's like, oh, this is so. I don't know. I say this all the time. I'm always fascinated with like the extremes of fandoms, the extremes of game cultures, and it's like, oh, this is such an exhilarating thing. And then obviously it's like the book. Also, get back to its credit. The Boss Fight books, DDR book. The first like 20 pages is about like the origins of like Tokyo nightlife, clubbing, dancing in the streets, Harajuku culture, like the biker gangs that do the rockabilly dances in Harajuku. So it's like talking about how like dancing in public was a Japanese like a phenomenon, and then they made a game for it. And so like, and then that coming to USA, the boom. And then the other thing also touching on is like round one is also having this explosion because during COVID, like kids read tons of manga, kids binged anime on Netflix. So now is compared to the 90s, which also had an anime boom with like Toonami and DBZ and stuff. All this like hyper chibi anime stuff is so big for like everyone, but like especially kids in their like or people in their 20s and teens and stuff. So it's like I feel like the timing is so sweet for this DDR stuff in round one to have like a healthy arcade or night, whatever you want to call it, like bowling entertainment place that is funding to having the latest DDR cabinets, because like arcades fell off super hard, but now I think our people are craving that third space. And when I went on Saturday, it was fun because my friends bought a pitcher of beer, so we were drinking and then going back to the machines and then back and forth. So it's a very good time. And I've told my friends like, oh, if you buy me a drink, I'll get your DDR credits, whatever. I don't care. But I'm also interested to like kind of observe what the scene here in California, and then also like keep looking in Tokyo. But now if we go to conventions, like there's always the DDR stuff. So I want to like kind of plant myself, but also track my progress. So like even last night, I got my first full clear on a difficulty level song, level 8. The peak is 20. That's like the thing. My personal peak, I cleared a song at level 12. So it's kind of nice to know my range. So, and back in the old days, the 90s, 10 was the max difficulty. So it's like, now I want to find an old machine and be like, can I play old DDR songs and extra? I don't know. So I'm happy this brain has a new bin to store all this crap into, because it's
love
like,
it. Absolutely love it.
I want to see a Frank video where you find like the strangest DDR. Like I want to see you find a DDR machine in like the Santa Ana House of Pizza and become the guy who shows up in like your gym gear and people are just buying pizza and they're like, yeah, that's the guy who fucking just wrecks it every night.
Brings his fan, orders pizza.
Exactly. But something about it being in the context of like a place where there's Parmesan cheese within 6 feet of you, I think just makes it very funny to me. The most obscure DDR machine in SoCal.
Yeah, you're like you've got like super like muscly legs and then like a big pizza gut,
just like super jacked down there.
I gotta stop holding the bar.
Is the bar, so I can sort of like, I've only done DDR like 1 or 2 times on like a friend setup in their room. Is the bar just so you don't have to fully commit your body weight to each thing so you can do it faster essentially?
Yeah, and so you can like tap your legs easier, because like the step charts get so crazy. And then also like they have holds, so you have to like hold with one leg and then move around. And if you're doing all the weight, I don't know. It's essential. But again, barless Steve or whatever could do it. But also the first day I did it, 2 hours just lifting my entire body, my arms, I was so sore. And then I read online like, okay, don't use the bar all the time if there's a sequence or like the finding rest. But like last night I was focusing on that, and then I got into a better thing of like, okay, when to lean, when to not do it. But yeah, it's just you can be kind of weightless and move your feet. And then like I was observing DDR players where like they'll keep their like legs in kind of a tight radius, because if you're doing too big of a movement, it's harder to get back in place. And so like again, the new machines are so sensitive that you just have to like barely touch it and it registers. And I think that it's again, even like that level of play is just fascinating. And so and then also the nice thing is I would do a few sessions of DDR, get so exhausted, and then take a break and then do Beat Mania, which is like the crazy, the DJ one with like 8 keys. But same thing, I looked at the tech, and it's like you're supposed to like spin the DJ pad with your pinky and not, so it's like, okay, and that's why they call the game Pinky Crush, because you're screwing your,
oh my God.
So again, there's all this stuff that's fascinating, but it's all anime music, chibi stuff, not Eurobeat. So now I'm like, oh, I know this song. So
it's only so much amount of this Eurobeat dunking I can take.
Right?
Exactly. Thanks for giving us the update on the revolution, Frank. Keep us updated on what's going on over there as you dive deeper and deeper into that world. We have one more game this week. This is the latest game from Mike Klubnika, who made Buckshot Roulette, right, Jesse?
That is correct. Yeah, S.p.l.i.t. This is a Dance Dance Revolution based video game where this is Mike Klubnika, known for Buckshot Roulette, obviously, as Danny mentioned. Everyone knows that game at this point. It's a very good game. But before that, he was making really cool like short story horror games on itch.io. And this is another one of those. It's like the highest quality polished version of that he's made so far. Whether or not you think the story is the best one is up to you when you play it, because it's coming out. It should be out right now, actually. It is out on the 24th, so it'll be out yesterday when this episode goes live. And it's going to be like $3. So this is a really short, little, tiny experience. I think it took me like 40 or 50 minutes. You play as A hacker. I'm trying to think of like specifically what's going on here and describing that, but you're playing as a hacker, using a PC that's very, very like sort of like straightforward, but also purely controlled by the keyboard. There's no mouse interface, so you just type and use. Eventually, part of the game is like a hacking mini game. It opens on this IRC chat where you're talking to two other characters, and there's this sort of vague conspiracy going on that you're involved in, and you're helping them to hack into some systems. I won't say anything specific because it's a story game. It's super short. And then eventually you get access to this hacking mini game where you have to, it's not even hacking is maybe even the wrong word. You're basically just doing command line prompt commands to like access different files in your own hard drive and hack into this separate machine that you get that's part of this conspiracy. And then eventually things get a little bit bigger. You learn like, oh, how involved you are, but only ever so slightly. I think what makes Split work, I don't want to say anything more because again, it's so short. It's $3. Like I recommend playing this with the caveat that, and I'll Jeremy might be able to describe it a little bit more, but like this game does this thing that some PC based keyboard typing IRC chat games do, where you type and the text progresses for your character. And usually when they do that, it goes the speed that you're typing. Here, it's really, really slow and like laboriously slow. Like,
what does that mean? So like, if I press the letter P, it takes a while to appear or something?
So like the speed that you type is not the speed that the characters come up. It's like the more you type, it's almost like a progress bar that you're filling up while typing, but not even that. Because it's not like the faster you type, the faster the keys come out. You're right. It's maybe like as you type, you sort of have to like chicken peck your keyboard to get the keys to come up in that pace.
It's like if you in the time you could like it, because you know it, like there's like an old joke website where it's like you're a hacker and as fast as you can type, characters appear on the screen. This is like you press a key and then there's, you know, maybe like a whatever half-second cooldown until you can press a key again and make the next letter appear.
Yeah.
So if I was typing the word pool and I went POOL, it might just appear P and L.
No, no. It's not even that. You're not typing the actual words that show up on the screen. There's a preset line of text, and you are making it appear as you press keys on the keyboard. So you're simulating the act of typing the message that shows up on the screen. It's like a weird disconnect that, I mean, works now because I have some experience with it. There was another game called Emily is Away that does a similar thing. That was really good. But here it's really, really slow. Like the characters will come up in sequence in the message, but the speed at which you type has no impact on how quickly those characters come up. Like you can't type really quick to make it happen.
Okay.
It's a hard thing to describe. It's sort of like when you're playing it, I was a little frustrated at the start. I kind of got over it because I wanted to see where it was going, and I know it was short, so it wasn't a big deal. But it definitely
feels arbitrary, like the fact that it
because
does that.
When you get to the hacking minigame section, everything comes up as quickly as you type. And then there's a third sort of thing that happens where you have to type quickly to make it progress.
Yeah.
Like it's just very strange. It's not the worst thing ever, but like I think what I like about Split, without getting into it super seriously, is like any good short story, it does that thing where it tells you just enough of a world and gives you just enough context to care about what's going on. And it's presented in this way where if you just want to see where the story goes from start to end, you can totally just do that. But if you want to dig a little bit deeper, there are files that you can sort of look at, file names you can check out that are kind of interesting, and like learn a little bit more, get a tiny bit more context about what's going on. There's 2 endings for the game as well, but you can get them both really quickly. You don't have to replay from the start. There's a save point right before the moment where you get to make the decision. So I think it's just a nice, good, short little experience from somebody who makes grimy looking video games. This is one of the grimiest that I think you've made so far. And it does a lot of, there was a moment in it that had me mouth agape for like 5 minutes. It was damaging.
I like the art style because he does a good job of like, it feels like Buckshot as well. It feels throwback and retro, but it doesn't look old.
Yeah.
Like it looks intentional and interesting and cool. Jeremy, you enjoyed this as well, or did you?
I will play it at some point. I tried twice, and the speed of the typing thing that we were talking about, I tried it once and I was like, I can't fucking do this, and I alt F4'd within 2 minutes, and then I was like, I think I was being impatient, let me come back to it later, and then I came back to it later and I was like, no, I fucking can't do this. It's so slow. Here's the thing is, I think the impulse when you encounter a game mechanic and you're like, this is frictional and I hate it, I feel like it's the easy way is to say like bad dev doesn't know what they're doing. Like I don't think that at all. There must be some intention behind this, but it is like I don't know what it is, and it was driving me fucking nuts.
Be very funny if this was just like a pre-release bug that you guys.
I mean, maybe it feels like that.
It could be. If this was my friend who was a developer and they said this to me, I would submit a piece of gentle criticism and say like, this game is fucking awesome. Here's one thing that would make the quality of it a little bit higher. It's just like I was struggling to understand it because, like I said, you want to feel like a hacker. A hacker doesn't just
hacker man.
Yeah, they don't type fast just when they're hacking. Like it's not like you're like, oh, I can type fast when I'm hacking, but now I'm typing an email and I'm like hunting and pecking. Yeah. So I was just like, holy shit! Like
that's funny.
Yeah, because here I'll say one last thing about it. It's like if you're typing super fast and it's only registering a key every like 5 key presses, it feels bad. And if you're typing very slow, like every half second, you're pressing like a key. It also then it makes you feel like you're like you've never used a computer before, like you're like grandma checking her email. And so I was like, I'm supposed to like feel like a hacker, but I like type this fucking slow. I don't understand.
Well, at the end of the game, when they tell you you're actually a grandma checking her email, then it makes sense, you know.
If that was the end, and I would admit complete defeat.
They got you. The one other thing I wanted to mention, this is like a fourth wall breaking thing. I needed to say it because it's so specific.
Are you sure you want to say it?
Yes, because it's not.
You need to say it to recommend the game.
It's not a part of the story of the game. It is a joke in the game that is not funny to anyone except for me and Jeremy. I feel like it's not a joke. So there's a list of games in the game that are referenced that are real video games, as far as I'm aware. 2 of them in there are Dungeons of Blood and Dreams and Elation for the Wonder Box 6000.
Oh shit!
And I was like, wait, did Jeremy make that? Are you the developer of Buckshot Roulette? There's other games in there if you want to check out the list. It's an optional thing that does not matter. And again, it's referencing things that are real. So I'm sure it's outside of the context of the game anyway.
That's cool. That's a nice little nod to other indie devs with sort of like interesting crunchy styles that are adjacent to this.
Yeah.
S.p.l.i.t. There are dots in between the letters, folks. S.p.l.i.t. Do you have any? You said it was off $3-4, something like that?
$3 on launch, and there is a 15% discount if you pick it up. The launch week. 15.
God, please, God, yeah. I was like, he's not going to get any money out of this. Steam are already taking $1 out of that 3. Yeah. So there you go. S.p.l.i.t. From Mike Klubnika. Let's roll into emails. What we got this week, Frank?
Yeah, if people want to send us emails, write to us at podcast@noclip.video or on our Patreon, Discord, in the podcast chat channel. Once again, it's podcast@noclip.video. One email from Justin Brandt on game documentaries. Hey guys, I'm someone who loves documentaries, grew up on History Channel and Discovery. I still get hyped for How It's Made or anything on ancient Egypt, also any docudramas about business, such as The Big Short or Business Wars podcast. But my absolute favorites are video game documentaries. I grew up with G4 as my primary way to get information on gaming, as well as that they had long-running documentaries called Icons, from Bushnell to Half-Life to even the OG Ralph Baer. As the channel died, the show Icons died as well as what the subject matter covered. Cue to you guys putting together your Patreon and channels, and here we are again with some much better documentaries than anything else that was out there. The Half-Life stuff should have earned you guys at least an Emmy or Globe nods if you were on TV or in theaters. Why do you think it took so long for folks to devote the time the subject matter deserves? It's nice to see others are also in the space because there's a lot of stuff to cover. You guys are going to be busy for decades.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Thanks so much, Justin. I think it's because like this stuff is just in the world of like the economy of making online video. I don't think this stuff makes any like sense. Like it costs a lot of money to make, and ultimately the audience for it is fairly niche. Like games are really big and popular. People who care about how games are made is a very small subset of that. People who are willing to watch long videos about how games are made is a small version of that as well. So I think it's just like when G4 was doing Icons, I'm sure it was probably like part of it was like a prestige production on their show, right? Like some stuff costs more than others. There are like loss leaders. There are, things that you do to sort of inflate the brand a bit that maybe don't make that much sense for the amount of time and production that goes into it. I think that's ultimately probably the reason. I think the other reason is that like YouTube is really good. Like the video, like game fandoms are kind of really concentrated, and like a lot of fandoms take care of themselves. Like there are people out there making, Eve fans making videos about Eve and books about Eve, and like, fans of Final Fantasy, saving all that sort of stuff. And where we sort of exist in some ways is sort of appealing to the ones that maybe aren't doing it, or games that aren't so have such deep fandoms that they do that themselves. Like we've never covered Eve for that reason, right? We just can't catch up with that stuff. But like Dwarf Fortress, there's not that many people talking or telling the story of how that thing came together. So I think, that's my sort of, and it's the same reason I think like people dabble with this stuff, right? There are other channels that pop up, or our friends over at GameSpot or IGN or wherever have dabbled in doing this sort of stuff, but ultimately it never lasts, gets cut because it's just too expensive, or takes too much time, or there's a budget thing happening, or nobody wants, a video producer doesn't want to be working on the thing that took 4 months to make and got 80,000 views or whatever. It's like there's all these different reasons, but because we're crowdfunded, we get to do this stuff.
And then Matt wrote in a question about games and music. Hey, Noclip crew. I was watching the Ghost of Yotei State of Play, and it got me thinking about the way music functions in games and how it's changing. Not only were the songs from the soundtrack we heard in the State of Play immediately available on all music streaming services, but the game will also have an alternate lo-fi soundtrack mode to listen to while you play. And we're back when Halo 2 sold the soundtrack on CD. It felt so novel, but now it feels like studios advertise and release their soundtracks in pre-game launch windows in order to keep their games in players' minds. I'm still listening to the soundtrack to Ukrainian devs' vibey noir pixel art game replaced 4 years after they showed the trailer, and the game isn't even out yet. So it still has mindshare for me. Huh. What are your thoughts on this changing relationship between games and music?
Changing how? I guess is the thing that I'm...
Well, the fact that like in the question, I was wondering if Jeremy had any thoughts on this because he like produces music and stuff, but like in the way that like they are front and centering these soundtracks, like it's this like Wheel World soundtrack came out today. The game's not out till tomorrow. Right. It's like there's a different sort of the way that it's almost part of the marketing, I guess, is kind of the thing maybe here.
Yeah, I think it's probably a recognition of. Not like of the power, like obviously, composers have always demanded or like earned respect among teams. Like everyone has always realized that music is a huge part of setting tone and stuff. But I think it's maybe more of like a recognition of the extent to which that can stand alone as its own sort of experience or its own thing. Like I listen to so much. I would never get any work done if I didn't listen to fucking 9-hour JRPG soundtrack mixes. It's all I listen to when I do game dev. And I think that, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just like more of a recognition that there's a hunger for that, or that it's like a valid form of media to consume. Because like I said, it's like Yoko Shimomura has always been, people were like, oh my God, she's amazing and she makes amazing music. But maybe, yeah, I don't know. I guess what they're sort of alluding to is that there is more of, on like the side of these companies, that there's more of a recognition of that as a saleable commodity, or that it's a marketable thing. I think that the prestige has always been there, but the shift has been more on like the commerce side.
I guess that was a me thing, because I like growing up, I never really like I didn't play a whole lot of video games, for being totally honest. Like before age 10, I played like Donkey Kong or Diddy Kong Racing. Like we didn't have a ton of money, so playing video games was like, yeah, we're coming back to Diddy Kong Racing, baby. It always goes back. We didn't have a ton of money or time for video games. Like it was a rare thing for me. So by the time I reached that point where I cared about them more significantly, you could already buy soundtracks, and like they were already. So I didn't even make that connection. But no, I
think it's not so much that there are soundtracks. I think it's that they are producing they're releasing these soundtracks beforehand. And I think the reason, like, I think Jeremy's sort of right on the artistic side, and I think the boring commerce side answer that I would give is, I think in game production, the music stuff is often quite ahead of other aspects of the, not necessarily, but like certainly in a lot of games we focus on over the years, the music has been done ahead of time, or at least parts of it have, or at least it's like sometimes studios use it almost as like a tone setter, almost like concept art or mood boards and stuff. So I think this is sort of a smart way of creating a really repeatable marketing asset that people get to enjoy now, years before or months before the game comes out. Because like a trailer, somebody's going to watch it once, perhaps twice, you know, and then they're thirsty for news on the game. But if you're able to just like give them a chunk of the soundtrack, that's doing a lot for, like they said about the mind share for the game replaced. Like, that's kind of smart. It's like, you know, how many people are listening to the Hades 2 soundtrack and still haven't played it? You know, they're waiting for that 1.0.
Yeah, I think there's also, I guess there has been sort of a cultural shift as well, because I think that if I think back about the relationship between video game music and like promotion of games, it often felt like the promotion of a game would use music that wasn't from the game itself. Like you would get the fucking Gears of War Mad World trailer. They wouldn't play like this, you know,
Gary Jules making bank off this game, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's more of a recognition of like, I don't think game music is like, I don't think it's like it used to be so like bad or boring or simple or whatever, and now it's so good. I think it's more just a recognition of game music isn't just like this background tone setting thing that's like wallpaper, that it is its own sort of like premiere thing. Because I mean, go listen to the Super Mario RPG soundtrack to highlight Yoko Shimomura again. It's like fucking, it's mind blowing. Like there's crazy compositions on there. And it's one of the most memorable things about that game for me. But yeah, I'm trying to, I should look up a trailer for Super Mario RPG and see if they used that fucking bizarre overworld theme, because I feel like they might have.
I wonder if it also, like, in a way justifies the cost of getting, you know, a good producer on to make the soundtrack. If you can add it as part of the marketing budget, like that really helps, I think, to like, it's smart. It's a smart way of spinning out, you know, the way they just love adding new releases, like, you know, oh, we got our you know, our PC launch, and then our Switch launch, and then our and our early access, and then our like, this is another beat that marketing gets to have, and that, you know, people will talk about and share the links of it, like, even if you don't play the thing, you know.
It's also it is a shortcut to like emotional connection.
Yes.
Music is so fucking powerful at evoking a sense of place and emotion and memory that, like, if the music comes out a month before the game, when it's in a weird sort of like reverse action, you'll play the game, hear the music, and be like, I remember this. And it's like, no, you're playing this for the first time. You're like, you're feeling nostalgia for a game that you're experiencing for the first time. So it's sort of like psychological priming to have an emotional connection to something.
And so much of games' assets is like, they are terrified to share before games come out because stuff changes, you know. God, those Spider-Man puddles, you know, like, so if there's stuff that's still getting tweaked, you know, it's probably not going to get tweaked, or if it does get tweaked, a lot of people aren't going to notice, is the soundtrack. I bet it's one of the most, like, in a lot of productions, and probably if they keep doing this, increasingly so, it'll be one of the first complete aspects of a game during production. And then it's just like, yeah, why not stick it out there? You know, you're not going to sell it. Unfortunately, music is worthless now because of streaming, you know, not artistically worthless, but just in terms of cost. But then also, like, yeah, maybe that's how you probably sell some more, is you give it out for free and then have the vinyl or the CD or whatever. It is weird. It is a good question, because it's sort of like a more recent thing as well, I feel like this one is.
And then we have one more. This is Reese wrote in an indie game recommendation. Hey guys, just a quick shout out for an indie game that I think you guys might dig. It's called Eriksholm, The Stolen Dream, and it's a narrative-focused isometric stealth game. I think Danny in particular might like it, as it's kind of like a Mimimi game.
Oh, cool.
But with way more emphasis on storytelling. It's by what looks like a new Swedish developer named River End Games, and I haven't seen anyone talking about it. At the time of writing, it has less than 200 reviews on Steam, 94% positive, which feels way too low for how great it's been so far. There's a demo on Steam that'll give you a good feel for it. It's also worth mentioning that it looks absolutely stunning, which is a nice bonus. I hope you check it out and like it enough to get the word out.
This looks fucking great.
Yeah, I
Have
played
you
the
seen
demo
this,
for this
Jesse?
during Next Fest,
Yeah?
the most recent one. It was it was really good. I think it's the Mimimi comparison is apt in the perspective and the way that you play it. The characters have, or like patrolling guards have, vision cones that I think you can see. I can't quite remember. Played a lot of demos. And they walk back and forth. They have patrols. You solve puzzles by sort of distracting them out of the way to stealth, and there are moments where you could do a little bit of exploration, but it's not to the same level as a Mimimi game where you have like some degree of stealth puzzle solving, at least not in that demo. Maybe in the full game it gets a little bit deeper, but they started showing off some of the mechanics, and it was sort of like, distract the guard and they can go over here. And then I'm like, okay. And then later it was like, distract the guard and they can go over here. And I'm like, yeah, we did that already. So it's not a bad thing. It's just that comparison is sort of limited. It's still really good. Don't get me wrong. Like, they're right. It looks fantastic. I mean, the voice acting was good. And the puzzles are nice, but it's very linear and straightforward in a good way. I think they do a lot with that linearity. So it's very well made. I think it is very impressive looking at the very least.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous.
I was going to say it reminds me of Victor Antonov's work, and then I went down to the first Steam review, and they said this reminds me of Victor Antonov.
Yeah, rest in power. Yeah, it looks gorgeous. It has a sort of a bit like a Commandos-y feel, maybe, kind of look, especially with the era. Maybe, you know, the world sort of looks a bit that way. I'm going to check this out. It says if you play the demo, that they do the beautiful work of making sure that if you play the demo and you buy the game, that it continues the save game. So I'm going to check this out today. Thank you so much for the recommendation.
Hey, while we're RIPing people, Ozzy Osborne.
What? No.
Yep.
Ozzy died?
Yeah.
You're kidding.
They just posted about it in the Discord.
Oh my God. He just did his last gig like a month ago?
Yeah.
Man, I'll be honest. That is the most and least shocking thing. That guy seems like he was having a rough time of it for a long time, for most of my adult life. 76.
God damn.
There you go. God, that's crazy. He did his last gig like
a couple weeks ago. Yeah. I saw
like
clips.
sitting down. Did you see it? He was like, he had his chair and everything and singing out Crazy Train. Damn. There you go. Rest in power. He's eating bats in hell.
Or in heaven. He's like he's shocking everyone in heaven by doing things you would expect in hell.
Can you believe it? They let me in. Can you believe it?
Sharon!
I was going to say, I thought Jesse was going to throw, when he said rest in peace, I specifically got it because Jeremy had mentioned it, but Ask Iwata, the book opens with this insane tribute about how Iwata passed away. Did we have a quick second so Jeremy can plug Ask Iwata?
Let's talk, we have a lot this week, I was like, we can push it to next week because it's not pertinent at the moment, but that's wild. Yeah. Any big Black Sabbath fans here, or it kind of was a bit outside of my wheelhouse?
I like Sabbath. I used to listen to a lot of Sabbath like in high school and stuff.
There you go. Ozzy Osborne. Anyone else? I love how current we are with
anyone else dead? Is that what you're gonna say?
Who else is dead? Let me Google that real quick.
Doug Stanhope used to have a running like Hollywood death list like betting game.
Oh yeah.
You could buy get options on who was gonna kick the bucket next. There you go. That is crazy. They did like his last concert, and I was like, I'm done. That's it.
Yeah.
Nothing else to live for. I'll just bounce out. Cool beans. All right. Thanks for the emails there, Frank. Podcast at noclip.video. All right. What else we got?
Sorry, I threw off the flow. I killed the whole thing. You know?
No worry. Yeah, exactly. We're all just bummed now that Ozzy's gone. A couple of videos hit Crew this week. Jesse's Summer Games recommendations. 5 fantastic indie games, ideal for summer. Go check it out. And his massive fingers on that Steam Deck. We also got a Kaizena Factory Story, an indie recommendation video for that. There should also be one up at time of recording for Wheel World. Speaking of the front men who are no longer with us, I guess. Damn. We also have the Battlefield 3 video. Great job on that as well, Jeremy. Our Battlefield 3 video is up on the main Noclip channel. We also have a early access for the second video in our series, How Games Are Made. It's all about trees. You want to know about trees in video games? Yeah, trees, Jeremy. Exactly.
Trees.
Back to that.
Sorry, I don't want to get us taken off YouTube. Now I'm very conscious of the drug thing.
You've just done, the bot is going to scan you doing that smoking weed gesture and is going to.
That'll be the thing. Not the mention of specific illicit gray market drugs.
It's what you just done did there. So thanks for that. Dead website, patreon.com/noclip. If you'd like to support us, we have been blacklisted from YouTube. We'd really appreciate it. The bonus pod all about Minecraft. The Minecraft movie is also up on Patreon. And like I mentioned earlier, I was on the latest episode of Attach Your Resume, the podcast, which is all about it's all about people who run businesses and media stuff. And if you want to go check that out, I'm on there. And also I was on an episode of Michelle Franklin's Legends and Lectures, which is a podcast I love listening to, but is predominantly about history and stuff. But she had me on to talk about video game history, which was good fun as well. So doing the circuit. I'm going to play some Eriksholm, The Stolen Dream, though, and see how that one goes. What are you guys up to for the rest of the week? Frank, what are you doing, except for DDRing it?
Getting deeper and deeper into Death Stranding 2, which I love, but I'll talk about it next week. But yeah, Death Stranding 2 is incredible, and I'm dying to play more. And honestly, I might try to go to another round 1 today. And now I got to check out the Mission Viejo round 1. And then I'll actually, Comic-Con is in town Thursday. They announced former Stardom wrestler Julia is going to be doing a meet and greet and at a panel for WWE action figures. So I'm going to see if I can sneak into Comic-Con and meet Julia. And Anamanaguchi is also doing 2 shows in town. So one in San Diego and one in Fullerton. So I'll be seeing Anamanaguchi again for like the 20th time. I don't know. But yeah, so a lot of stuff happening.
Chip tuning all the way home. Jesse, what are you up to?
It's my wife's birthday celebration this weekend. We're going to go to, she's 30, big 3-0. We're going to go to Korean barbecue. She wanted to go to an authentic one in the area, so that'll be fun. I've been there before without her. Sorry. So now I'm taking her, and I have to pay.
You're doing recon.
Yeah, I was making sure it was good, babe. I want to make sure it wasn't poisoned. And I have memories of murder at the library.
Me? Oh, okay.
They have the Criterion Collection version. I've seen it before. Oh, okay. But they have the director's commentary on there that I haven't heard before, and a redoing of an older, I don't know how the hell they described it, but it's like an old version of one of his movies that like he did a different intro for or something. It sounded really interesting, so I want to check that out.
Cool. Yeah, dude, I was recently thinking I need to like get a DVD. I need to get like because all my DVDs are PAL and they're in Ireland, but like I should start getting ones that have good commentaries on them.
Yeah, you know I miss doing commentaries, man. I feel like I listened to the one for Vanilla Sky like 100 times because that was all I had. That was the one DVD I had, for being honest.
Wow, who's on it? Is it Tom Cruise and
the
Nicole
director
Kidman, or is
and his wife, who I believe is the musician or one of the composers, or is just a musician? And she's like playing guitar half the time, and he's like, "Man, Penelope Cruz is so hot in this scene. I'm so glad we hired her to be in this movie." And I'm like, "Your wife's right there."
Jesus
weirdo.
Christ.
It was good though. It was interesting. I learned a lot about that movie, which is okay. It's pretty good. I watched it again recently. It's fine.
It's a weird movie.
Yeah. Tech support.
It's got that face mask thing, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that?
And then he takes his face
off. Exactly. Cameron Crowe directed. Go check it out, folks. The hottest movie. Go check it out. Go sit in your D-box. And
I prefer the original Abre los Ojos.
Oh, wow. Look at this. Look at this guy. Jeremy, what are you going to do? Are you having Huevos? Are you watching Huevos Rancheros?
I'm having Huevos Rancheros today in honor of Tom Cruise, the dessert of Vanilla Sky. No, I've been working on a game, and I made the entire thing with Photon as the netcode, but in case more than 10 people play it when it comes out, I don't want to pay Photon's fees, so I'm porting the entire thing over to Mirror and Steamworks API. So
nice.
Going to be deep in the netcode this week.
Are Photon's fees unreasonable?
They're not unreasonable. It's just that I am cheap.
Hey, let Papa Gabe pay for it.
That's true. If you're paying 30% of what you make on Steam, you might as well use that fucking Steamworks API. Am I right? Get that fucking nat punch through. It's like I am working on a larger, more conventional game, but this is a weird little art game, so I don't expect it will have a huge audience or anything. But so if you're making a game that's like $2 on Steam, it's like I don't want to pay server fees for it or anything.
That's a good point. Yeah. Make sure you get 15% off on launch when you do.
Yeah, that's true. It'll be like $1.65. It is a game that is inherently 2-player though. You can only play with another person. So I'm thinking it'll be like $2, but maybe sell like 2 copies for $3, so you can give it to a friend or something.
Yeah. That'd be good,
I'll update you guys later on it this summer. I'm hoping to get it get it going. And
Can't wait.
obviously-
What are you doing? 2 players is a glory hole. What's the?
It's called Glory Hole. It's called Buckshot Glory Hole, and you sit across from someone.
You sure it's Buckshot?
It's
Glory Hole?
God damn it! It's called Cumshot Roulette.
Oh my god!
You can bleep that so
Bye.
we don't get demonetized.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Sorry, Mike Klubnika.
We should do a
Apologies.
feature on all of the NSFW games on Steam.
Oh, I've got everything.
Oh, you
out-
activated them.
Check out rants. Check out
I feel like you would have to play like
Rants?
Sengoku Rants.
6,000
You're not a big fan?
fucking
You don't know?
incest games to do that feature.
I don't know. Last year or 2 years ago, I bought a couple of them just to see what was up, and I have.
Just sure, likely story.
They're all the same. They're all just like weak narrative, and then like you end up, you just go
That's
on
the
dates
point,
with people.
man.
Yeah. They're all the same. They're all at least maybe I need to play some more. I have them all here. I think I have them in my hidden. Jeremy has what's it called again? Balatro in his hidden games he was talking about last week. I've got
It's all the
just
porn games in Balatro.
the worst list. Exactly. Yeah.
I feel
Where
like
are-
the
I can't even
only
find it. Here
like
they are.
porn adjacent game I've ever played was just like Newgrounds games back in the day that were
Right.
like dating simulators, and then you're like, oh, this is interesting, and then an anime girl would take her shirt off, and you'd be like, oh, all right.
Right.
in my
I
pachinko.
think. Go on, yeah.
In my pachinko research last week, I did a full playthrough of Pachinko Sexy Reaction, which is a 1998 pachinko game. And so,
Wow.
yeah, you keep playing, and in every round they change into different costumes. And
You said it's called Pachinko Sexy Reaction.
Yes, Pachinko Sexy Reaction. And there is an arcade in Tokyo that I've been to where there is a section where it's all the horny like gambling games. And so there was like Strip Mahjong and Pachinko Reaction. There's just these arcade cabinets where people are playing it and seeing pixelated arcade games. So it's
Titillation.
yeah. So
That's
Wow.
such a dopamine 2-for-1 is like that's like McDonald's French fries with morphine in them. You know what I mean? Like it's like gambling and sex.
I have the game that I played. How many hours of? 4 hours of Helping the Hotties. It was called. And also in this hidden collection of games, I have the Battlefield's 2042 open beta. So that shows you sort of how ashamed I am to have played that as well, I guess. There you go. Upcoming feature on whatever we call this channel, if we ever launch this channel.
Oh yeah, you wanted to have a conversation about that, but
yeah, we've
a
done
little
enough
long.
this week. I'm worried about those weeks where we don't have anything, like we had the week before last. I was like, oh no, we've nothing to chat about, so we'll get some of that stuff in there soon enough. Thanks for hanging out, folks. Patreon.com/Noclip. Go check out all the stuff on our 2 channels, and we'll see you again next week. Bye.